Okay, so the dials on the dashboard itself, those who may be a little bit unaware of what they are, sometimes obviously unless you're told, you're never going to know, so I'll just quickly explain them. This big one on the left hand side here is what we call a Rev Counter, and it tells you how many revs the engines are doing per minute. Most cars tick over somewhere between about 800 and 1000 revs, depending on what car it is. And obviously as you apply more gas to the car and the speed increases depending on what gear you're in, you'll find that the revs will increase. So if I just push the gas pedal, you'll notice that the revs increase with it. So when we're talking to you about setting the gas, what we need you to do is bring the revs up of the car, and then normally sort of hold them there as you're ready to be pulling away, sort of thing. On petrol cars you do tend to need to set the gas. Diesels are a little bit more forgiving, but keep those revs up all the time whilst you're ready to pull away, otherwise you'll find that you may have trouble, especially on hills, and the car's more than likely to stall if you don't have enough gas as you're pulling away. Moving on to the next one, this is the temperature gauge, and you always tend to notice that by the little symbol on the side there, or it's got a degrees C or a degrees F depending on what model of car it is. This car is currently warm. It's sort of sitting at its standard sort of temperature, but just ticking over. Obviously if you start to see this gauge move up into the red, you maybe want to be pulling over and doing something about it, because you maybe got not enough water in the engine and the engine's going to start to overheat. So always something to keep an eye on. The one next to that, this is the fuel gauge. It tells you how much fuel the car's got, and also you see a little symbol there of a petrol filler pump. What they did a few years ago, they decided to make it easier for people. You might drive a few different cars, and so they decided we'll put an arrow on the side of the petrol pump symbol to distinguish what side of the car the filler cap is. So on this particular model of car, this is showing me that it's on the left hand side. So when I pull up to a petrol pump at a petrol station, I need to make sure that the pump is on the left hand side of my car, for more ease. I mean, most petrol stations nowadays do have longer hoses to be able to reach from one side to the other, but it's just easier if you can do it so you stood right next to the pump. And then finally we've got the Speedo. This tells me in miles per hour on this particular model of car, some are kilometers per hour. It tells me what speed I'm doing, and obviously we need to know that we're always sticking within the speed limits for the roads that we're on. Okay.